I'm Markia Butler, your host. All right, y'all. I am a proud Floridian. I am from Jacksonville, Florida, born and raised Duval County. Hey, Duval. Graduated from Florida A&M University. Hello, Tallahassee. I still have people in Florida, and I have so much love for all of them. But sometimes out here in LA, when people find out that you're from Florida, they immediately put you on trial for something. Usually something wild that happened somewhere out there. Like, oh, Markia, you're from Florida. What do you think about the alligator that was elected mayor of Topeka? I'm like, what? Why is it that I am personally responsible for defending everything that happens in a state with over 20 million people? But if you must know, I thought the alligator had some very innovative fiscal ideas and realistic approach to getting them adopted in the city council. So anyway, we thought we would just take this very familiar aspect of Floridian life and put it out there for you all to see. Florida is great. Florida is amazing.
What about the Florida man on your birthday?
Running through the airport, right?
You have two lifelines.
What are they?
You can phone a friend or reversal.
I want to phone a Florida friend because we are compassionate people in Florida, facing adversities, navigating tourists, and enjoying life with everyday blessings like our awesome beaches, weather, and families. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second episode of Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. If this is your first time with us, we're glad to have you join us. If you're coming back, we're happy to have you with us. So, there's so much content available for you to be here. It really means a lot, so thank you. We got a great show ahead today, including part 2 of our part 3 dance. But first, we've got an interview with a remarkable woman who turned a life-altering diagnosis into a support system for others dealing with the same discovery. It's an honor to introduce you all to the founder of the organization Sisters Surviving Infertility, Janae Cook. Hello, Janae Cook, and welcome to Let Your Love Be Real. It is a pleasure to have you with us today, and thank you so much for answering the phone. Oh my gosh, girl, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, girl? Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure. So, jumping right on in, please tell us about MRKH, how to pronounce it, first of all, and then exactly what it is. Tell us your story, please.
Yes, so MRKH stands for Mayer-Rokitansky-Kuster-Hauser syndrome. It was named after the 4 doctors who discovered it. I want to say the 70s or 80s, don't quote me. But to give you guys an idea of what it is, basically women, we're born without a complete reproductive system. So we can have, like an underdeveloped uterus, an absent uterus. We don't have a vaginal canal or a cervix. So in my case, I was born without the uterus, the cervix, and the vaginal canal. And as a result, we can't conceive, naturally because of course we don't have the uterus for the baby to, grow in. And then also too, with us not having the vaginal canal, we have to either get surgery or a non-surgical procedure called dilation, which is what forms that vaginal canal. And then also one thing that, I'm really passionate about is verbiage, because we do have a vagina. We have the outer parts. It's just that the insides didn't form properly.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much. So specifically for your story and your journey, what was the time that you discovered that MRKH was becoming a part of your life, or was a part of your life? Like, what did that journey look like? When did that start for you?
Ooh, well, for me, I really like to say it started when I was 14. I wasn't diagnosed yet, but I had a dream that I couldn't have children. And it was just so,
Wow.
I want to say like traumatizing, because for one, I've always felt different. And kind of going back to the diagnosis, we're typically diagnosed when we don't have a cycle. So like, I'm going through middle school, high school, still don't have a period just yet. And, of course, I'm thinking to myself, like, what's going on? So my mom and doctors just thought that I was a late bloomer. So when I was 17, I went to my primary care doctor, and he told me I think it was a few months after I turned 18, that's when he said, okay, cool, you need to do a pelvic exam and just kind of see what's going on. So when they try to do an exam, like the doctor could barely get a finger inside of my, vagina, because of course it hadn't formed. And then I went through all of these different doctors, MRI and just all kind of things. So it started at 18. And, when I was diagnosed, it was very, it was like a gut check, in a sense. I don't know how else to describe it, but it was life-changing. My doctor was not compassionate at all. He just laid it out for my mom and I, and it was, I don't know it was just so like, I hate to say it, keep saying traumatizing, but that's all I could think of, because for one, I feel like a lot of times doctors, they don't focus on the mental aspect. The first thing they focus on is, okay, how can we fix you? When I say fix you, I mean like the now part, instead of, wondering how is our mental, how are we processing this? And another thing too is when a doctor tells a young lady she doesn't have a vagina, you go through so many emotions. You question who you are, your purpose, for some people, their sexuality. It's not something that I feel like should be delivered in like a nonchalant tone. A lot of compassion and, like I said, the verbiage plays a big role in that.
Absolutely. So speaking about when you mentioned about how you were affected emotionally, what did the journey look like as far as self-respect and self-love? Like, were you able to adjust to loving yourself through that process at the very beginning? And then were you able to receive love from others?
Ooh, girl. Wow. The self-love part came definitely later. I'm 30 now, so I've been on this journey for over 10 years. And I just tell people, like, for me, happiness came to me in a sad vehicle. I've gone through so many different, experience. I feel like I've been, 10 different people from now up until my past. But the self-love part, wow, that journey just looked like a lot of prayer, a lot of, depression, isolation. I hated God. I questioned God. It was a lot of internal battles that I don't think I was, prepared to fight, because with MRKH, it affects, well, I know I'm kind of throwing facts at y'all too, but it affects 1 in every 4,500 to 5,000 people. And so a lot of times, like the only way for you to meet someone else with it is via social media. And then, setting up a meetup or whatever the case may be. But in my case, I had no one else to turn to. So the self-respect part, my self-esteem was very low. I was searching for love and validation. And the biggest thing for me too is, like being diagnosed the semester before going to college, I literally had, maybe 3 or 4 months to try to process it. But like I told you before, when I went to college, I felt like I had, like this deep secret. And a lot of my roommates, they didn't know until I came out about it, maybe 3 or 4 years into college. And then of course, that's how my story a lot more. They're like, wow, why didn't you say anything about it? So it's very isolating, and it's a journey. I feel like, unless you really do have a strong support system, like it will break you.
You basically answered the next question I was going to ask. Did you question what you believe, or did you have some sort of like resentment towards like what you believe in? So moving forward from there, you definitely just touched on like vulnerability, being able to share with others. So as far as dating, the aspect of sharing, how are you able to be vulnerable with those that you're dating? Is it something that you just come out and say, or is it, you give it some time, or like, how is it dating with MRKH?
For me, it's difficult. It's not something that, I try to lay on a guy when I first meet him, only because I feel like, with Black folks, we really are private. And it's not really something I feel like should be shared the first date. For me, I try to gauge the guy's emotional maturity and then also our connection, because I feel like that alone will tell you what he can and cannot handle. Wow. Dating is very challenging too, because I feel like, once again, you're kind of going into it feeling like, you don't want to lead them on, like when it's too soon to tell them, you question your worth, your value, if he'll like you. A lot of times for me, I really do give the guys, in a sense, a choice. Because of course, like, it's infertility, and I already know for a fact that with this particular journey, I want someone who's going to be committed to me and also want it just as much as I do. Because I feel like, like I said, dealing with this since I was 18, I would have the strength and the backbone to support him. That way we can do this, thing together, or, this whole experience with baby making, because it's not easy at all.
It isn't, and we know that there are celebrities that have spoke up about it, also in the news and stuff. So, look, you are always in prayers. Everyone is always in the prayers, because just, that dream. Actually, what was your dream when you were younger and dealing with, like, just growing up and having this family? Like, what did that change for you? Like, what was your mindset about that once you realized about MRKH?
Yeah, it definitely did rob me of my dream. I've always wanted to be a mom. I've always loved kids. I have 2 younger brothers. So, anytime I could, flex my motherhood skills, or, if they fell, they had a, scrape on their knee, I would tend to it. I've always had that heart for children and heart for people. So it definitely did for me. It robbed it, but I also have to remind myself that, either through surrogacy or adoption, I can still be a mom. And I always tell people, like, I can't conceive, but I can still be a mom. It's just one of those things where
Absolutely.
I feel like it's about your perspective, So how you talk to yourself about it definitely does play a role in your, your state of mind as well as your journey.
All right, so we're going to switch gears a little bit here, and please tell us more about Sisters Surviving Infertility.
Yes, that is my baby. I created the world's first support group for Black women. It's a private group on Facebook. My, board and I definitely do, of course, see it being an organization. As of now, we provide support for, Black women all over the world. We have members in Brazil, Africa, a young lady in the UK. For me, representation does matter. When I first came out about it, there wasn't anyone who looked like me talking about it in the public eye. And I felt like that alone as well made me feel a lot, like it was just me, and there were groups that were, catered toward MRKH, but like I said, it was just, they couldn't really understand my journey, like the cultural differences as well as, the experience. So yeah, that's my thing. Started, 2018. And, outside of the support, we offer, just resources as far as like, surgeons. We, swap information. It's really beautiful, like, just to have someone who can really identify with you and just kind of take it a step further. Like, we have our weekly calls just to connect. I feel like it definitely did pick up during quarantine because, we're all stuck in the house and, seeing, the pregnancy announcements and not really being able to, like stay off your phone, because that's really all we had. Outside was closed. So it really brought us closer together. Outside of that, we do an annual trip that, of course, was interrupted by COVID. During the trip, we just bond, connect. Girl, hot mess. So yeah, we bond, connect, we do community service. So it's something that, like, I'm still getting off the ground, but I'm really proud of the work that we have done. And another thing that's, really special too, is that my group and I really are the first, Black women to really share our experiences publicly. So with that being said, too, like, take anything for granted. And, we know for a fact that, we're the face for a lot of women who, look themselves in the mirror and they don't feel beautiful. They don't feel worthy. And, they're sitting at home, like questioning, like, what's wrong with me? So we're really hoping that by sharing our stories and with me sharing my story, that, we're really providing hope for, other women.
I'm extremely, extremely proud of you. Like, you have been doing amazing things in the community, amazing things. Just, I love watching you on Instagram, girl. You inspire me so much. And I do want to know, what advice do you have for young women, a young woman who may wake up one day and experience MRKH and, get that diagnosis from their doctor? Like, what advice would you give them?
I would say it doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. It's so many layers to MRKH, to the point where you will feel defeated a lot of the time, but you just have to keep fighting. Support is really big with this journey. Find a community who, definitely supports you. They can love on you, pour into you, because you cannot do this by yourself. I tried, honestly, for a couple of years, and literally like the worst decision I could have ever made. But also too, because, I wasn't quite sure how to process it, because I didn't get therapy. Like, that's one thing I do regret, was not getting therapy, because I was too ashamed. And I'm in college and talking to my parents, they're like, you should be focused on school. So yeah, just, surround yourself with people who can love on you, cheer you on, and just know that it's gonna get better. Like, it will.
Thank you so much. Like, I'm like almost on the borderline of tears because of how beautiful, like, you've done so much for women in general, and being that we are African American women, and that the medical field is not always the easiest to maneuver with us. So I just want to tell you once again, like, giving you your flowers, that you are doing a phenomenal job, and you are just paving the way for many of us. But I do want to switch gears and talk about how you maneuvered college, and just how you grown into this beautiful woman, even though maybe in the back of your mind this may be something, but just you maneuvering and switching gears, as you just mentioned shortly, that it doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. Like, what have you maybe looked up to, looked after, like what are some things that you've, I guess, put to the forefront that has helped you continue to bloom?
Oh, girl, first of all, about to start crying. Thank you for that. Sorry. Whew. I'm only crying because it really has been a lot. And whew, I want to thank you first and foremost, because you were the ones, girl, you had my back. I remember when I first told you, you were looking like, huh? Like a lot of people, because it is a lot, when you first tell them. So I want to say first and foremost, thank you for your support, because it meant so much, having an older, woman to look up to. I'm the oldest of two brothers. So girl, kudos to you. Wow. Navigating college was really, really hard. To the point where I did want to drop out a few times. Like, just go to admissions, pulling my slip, be like, look, I can't do it anymore. I looked up to, man, like aunts, my mom. I had, a best friend who was still in Jacksonville. Whenever I would have a moment, because I had a lot. And, even dealing with roommates and them talking about, periods and all kind of stuff, and me not being able to relate, that hurt. Because it's like something that's so like normal, you don't have. So a lot of it was, man, it was a lot. And doing a lot of reading, self-reflecting. When I say I journaled myself out, and also too, it's so funny. you know, when being Mary Jane came out, and she had all those sticky notes, you know, on her wall and bathroom, bedroom. That is exactly how my bedroom looked. You would have thought I was going crazy. But for me, it was like my room was like my sanctuary. This is when I didn't have a roommate now. It's like I'm on space. So yeah, I remember I had like 2 vision boards. I actually had a vision board on the back of my door. That way I could see it on my way out of my room. I had sticky notes, pictures of myself, affirmations, you know, prayers. I always knew I would get through it. I just didn't know how. And one thing about me is that I do have a quiet strength that I had to tap into, that got, you know, stronger as I got older, because that's when the confidence came in and just that reassurance from God, like, just trust the process. You're gonna be fine. I promise you, everything is full circle. So all of that, I kind of feel like I'm rambling. That's how I got through college. It took a lot of strength, and I don't know how I did it. You know, I remember, you know, one young lady, she said that she did drop out of school. And when she said that, I was like, Janae, like, you did that. You know what I'm saying? Throughout everything with, you know, not feeling, you know, worthy enough, you know, my grades were decent. I know I could have did a lot better, and that's something that I had to, you know, really let go of. Like, you were going through this whole condition, in a sense, physically by yourself. Family and friends are all in Jacksonville, and here you are in college trying to process all of this by yourself. Like, it was a lot. So, you know, I really had to give myself grace for sure.
Yes, grace. Oh, Janae, you are such a beautiful person, and I love how you just persevere, and you do it with so much grace and poise. And the fact that you even thought of other women, other people that may be going through this, just says so much about you. So I do want to once again give you your flowers, and I'm super excited to see sisters surviving infertility just completely take off, because the world needs it. The world needs you. So thank you so much for this beautiful interview. Where can we find you? Where can we find maybe on your social medias?
Yes, my Instagram is the letter B, natural, and then the number 13. The Sister Survived Infertility Instagram is in my bio. And if you are interested in joining the group, it is on Facebook, Sister, so SISTAHS, Surviving Infertility. Just, you know, put in the search bar, maybe MRKH after, but it'll definitely come up, and, you know, we'll add you. And one thing too about my group that I do like, we don't always focus on MRKH. We be having a ball, y'all. Like, it is so much fun. And that's one thing I really want to bring to the forefront, is that MRKH does not define you. You know, one thing about me, if you ever follow me on Instagram, child, I be having so much fun with my life. Like, and I'm the life of the party, you know.
Always.
Thank you. And honestly, too, like, when you love life, it is so infectious. And,
yes,
you know, I want people, whether you a man, woman, you have a markation, not, you know, I want people to truly be authentic and live themselves. And I feel like, you know, what better way than to start with myself as an example.
Well, Janae, thank you for chatting with us on Let Your Love Be Real talk show. We hope to see you again, and have an amazing day and an awesome, prosperous year. And girl, keep doing your thing, girl.
Girl, I love you.
Love you too. Bam you. Bam you. Bam you. This interview will go down in history. It's a surreal moment to have your own talk show, but also be able to interview a friend. We actually went to karaoke last year in Florida, had a blast. I'm still not sure if all of Florida knows we're still in a pandemic. Are you excited for the next steps to the dance? Because I am. If this is your first time watching Let Your Love Be Real talk show, please wear your workout clothes for this next segment. It's time to pass it on over to the field. Welcome back to Dance Love Fit with Tay Ryan and Markia Butler on Let Your Love Be Real talk show. So this is section 2. If you have not seen section 1, I encourage you to go back and watch. So today, Tay is going to give us everything you got for section 2.
Here we go. go, you guys. So at the end of section 1, we started up here. We clapped our hands and our left leg was up, right? We're gonna put that leg down. Boom, and we're gonna lean over into that leg. Then from here, we're gonna put our arms back. Boom, and we're gonna bring our right arm forward. And we're gonna give ourselves a little bit of a pause. Hop, boom. Then we're gonna go, what? Then from here, you're gonna step on your right leg, roll your back towards the left, boom. Then you're gonna step, rolling the other way. Boom. Section 2.
Section 2 is complete. We're on to section 3. I'm Markia Butler.
Tay Ryan.
Thank you for watching Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. And this is Dance Love Fit. What an informative discussion that was. Janae Cook, we are rooting for you and we love to see phenomenal women overcoming. If you or a loved one are interested in knowing more about MRKH, please reach out to the Sisters Surviving Infertility MRKH Awareness Group on Facebook. There's never a wrong time to support awareness and to show support. Speaking of support, we have a live campaign going on here at Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show to increase our production value. Please check it out. Thank you to Paula and Gratisha for supporting our GoFundMe. Thank you to DJ Angelo for allowing us to pay homage to DMX with his Rough Rider remix. Thank you to Tay Ryan for showing us awesome choreography. So excited to get you all moving and grooving. Make sure you go over the dance. Part 3 is next week. Follow us to stay abreast on what we have in the works. You can find us on our social media platforms. I'm your host, Markia Butler. Thank you for watching Let Your Love Be Real Talk Show. And remember, love is the breath you breathe. So, let your love be real.